Good morning and welcome to the Raw Light podcast. My name is Danielle Baker and thank you for being here today. I'm actually just laughing because I was literally sitting down to start this podcast and I've got a coffee, so you're going to have to excuse me. I really need to drink this today. And I had a client, a friend who's now going to be a client, message me, and she was like, so I messaged her and I was like, okay, so I think it's time for your healing, yeah? And she was like, yeah, I was literally thinking about this yesterday, that you popped into my mind, and I was thinking, damn it, I need to get her to give me a healing. So I've just been kind of in-depth flowing in that. If you haven't listened to last week's podcast about Reiki and energy, I really do feel and recommend that you go back and listen to that, because we're going to be talking about a lot of amazing Reiki energy things. I'm going to be talking to you about before I even used Reiki and how energy worked for me. It's really important to I feel like get to know me a little bit more as well as a healer, because I've had a lot of people come to me and kind of say to me what makes me so qualified over a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And I would like to say that I don't think that I'm qualified over a psychologist or a psychiatrist, because I think that they have different purposes, and I think that everybody needs something different. And I had a psychologist message me this week and ask me why I don't have proper qualifications. And the truth is, I actually do have proper qualifications. It might not be your university standard of qualifications, but I went through a 5-year process of energy, and compared to what the mental brain has to go through for becoming a psychiatrist or a psychologist, energy work is pretty intense if it is something that you feel very aligned to be here to do. I also mentioned to her that I am a healer from birth, and we are completely different from people who feel they need to help people from a wounded and traumatic place. I had a very honest conversation with her about that, because the truth is, I could beat around the bush and say that everybody is here for the goodness of our hearts, but they're not. Okay, they're not. People are not here. Not every person is here for the goodness of your heart. Not every person is going to be as kind or as open or as loving as you're going to want. They're not going to meet your expectations. I might not meet your expectations. So it's really important to remember that even if I didn't meet your expectations, somebody else would. I also had another client last night who was like, you trigger me so much that I don't know if I can work with you. Like, it's a process of understanding that your brain, when I walk into a room, I've had millions and millions and millions of people. And I mean that because I've been in lots of different rooms, lots of different places, lots of different cities. I've had so many people be triggered by me and by the fact that I want to help people, and that my energy is so open. As soon as I walk into a room, people automatically switch on. Their body switches on, their face switches on. It's very uncomfortable for people if they're not looking for that. So if I'm just in general in a room full of people, it can be very awkward and very tough for me. So I feel energy very deeply, and it's something that I'm working on, not to allow my emotions to get mixed up in everything. And I feel it's really important to remember that if you're on this journey and on this path, that it's not always about you. And some people really do just get triggered by you, and other times you really need to look at yourself and think, am I being really authentic right now, or am I trying to take control of the room because I feel uncomfortable in a certain situation? And if you are, you need to kind of look at it as in, am I trying to dominate people too much, or am I standing in my power as a beautiful, strong woman, and that people are just genuinely intimidated by me and by myself? So that's just a little opener for you. I had a client last night. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm loving my clients. I'm loving the beautiful clientele that I'm attracting to me. These women are ready to work. They're ready to get down. The energy that they're receiving from my healings and also from us just chatting and being open has been absolutely incredible. If you are somebody that is wanting to have a healing from me, I can do it online. One of my clients at the moment lives in Perth and I'm doing it online. She was a bit iffy at the start, but as soon as we got into it, she started feeling the energy and started feeling her body really open up. She was really on board with it because she could see how even over a screen that energy really does work. And I feel like there is a lot of people that are afraid to do work online, and it's actually a beautiful space. You get to be in your own home, in your own space. You get to feel your own energy, create your own lighting, and also you're going to be in your home more than you're going to be in my space. So it's important for you to be in your own safe space and create your home as a safe space. I've had clients that I've worked with and they've refused to work from their home because they don't feel comfortable with their partner and people around. That has really got to stop, because if you don't build yourself a safe place in your own home and with your partner, how are you ever going to really express and really be seen for who you are? You will constantly keep tiptoeing around because you feel embarrassed about certain things. And I also have compassion and understanding for that as well. But it's also about building yourself up so that you can see how powerful and incredible and strong you are in your own energy. And that's what we do. We work on that. So having a space in your own home where you can kind of go to, away from the kids, away from your partner, even if you don't have kids or a partner, just in your own home. You got comfy cushions, candles, nice smells, whatever it is that works for you. My comfy place is my bedroom. It's my bedroom or the couch. I tend to have each area in my house feeling a certain way. My bedroom is my safe space. It's my open space. It's really beautiful. I will be going more into that for myself in the next year or so, but we're actually moving next year, mid next year. If you followed me for a while, you know that our journey to finding a place where we feel like is our next steps has been really confusing and tough, but we have decided on our next phases and stages. So I'm not going to just yet share with you where, but yeah, we're going back to a place that we both feel is perfect for us, and our family and the lifestyle that we're wanting to lead. So that's going to be happening next year. And in that space, I'm wanting to have something really beautiful for myself, for my family. I'm wanting to make it really homely, really creative, really open. And in that, then I can create what I need to create for educational wise for people and women, and it's really important. So if you haven't seen lately, I'm just going to give you an update on everything. I have been posting that I have a course in Perth. Well, it's not a course, it's more or less you come, you receive, you enjoy, you leave. So you come, you receive some beautiful Reiki energy in a group. There's a bit of sound and light language that comes with that as well. It's probably going to be on a Friday night in September. I have posted bits and pieces, and I'm thinking to solidify it, I'm thinking the date will be, sorry, I'm just having a look now, will be on Friday the 27th of September. Yes, it's the day before grand final if you were a person that follows football. I'm not really interested in it these days. My husband is, but yeah, so I've already got 3 women that are already on board, and I've already got a one-to-one client that I'll be working with in Perth. If you are living in Perth and you do listen to this podcast and you are wanting an appointment with me, please DM me and let me know. My booking system's a bit funny, guys. I've been trying to work on it for a while, and I do have a booking system there. You can book in with me, but it's only at night times at the moment. It's all I can. Or Saturdays and Sundays I have during the day, but night times are the only times I can jump on at the moment. Why my little one is so little, because her napping schedule is kind of a bit everywhere at the moment. So yeah, and then sometimes I can't guarantee that she's going to fully sleep, and I don't want clients to come to me and then I have to stop and start and stop and start. I really just want to be there and be present with you. I really do love online clients, guys. It is a beautiful process, and I know a lot of people feel really odd and weird at the start when they kind of haven't really met somebody, but it is a really beautiful process to be opened up to. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm offering. I have offerings on there for body readings and energetic readings as well, energetic clearings, healings, working with me on a one-to-one basis. I'm getting my website. It's not going to be done for another year, I think, until I have a bit more money gathered. But as soon as I finish my Reiki 1 course that I'm writing for you guys, which will be probably done in the next week or 2, I will actually probably have to get my website up and running. So just bear with me on that one. It will be coming soon. And that will be an offering that I will be offering in person and online. Reiki one is absolutely beautiful. I've already had people interested from Perth to down south to Gelton. So if you are a person who follows me and listens to me closely and you would like to be a part of my next phase and my next steps, I'm really excited to teach. I love teaching. It's my favorite thing to do. Teaching about energy, talking about energy. It's just honestly one of my favorite things to do. I'm literally bred for this. So it makes me really excited when I get going. What else can I update you guys on? Because I feel like this week I wanted to give you a little bit more of like an energetic rundown and those types of things. So at the start, I talked about how people have been really questioning me, which I like. I actually like because I see it as a teaching opportunity. Before I would get angry, but now I'm like, I see this as a teaching opportunity to be able to teach you and educate you about what I do and why it's so important to me. Sorry, I'm just taking a little sip of my coffee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to do that today. I need a little bit of a kick after having clients yesterday and stuff. I'm feeling like I just need a little bit of a push. I actually had been off coffee for a little bit. Fun story. And if I don't drink enough water with coffee, I notice that my kidneys are just like, help me. So I just have to make sure that I have it really early in the morning and then drink a heap of water after. So there's a little fun story for you. So yeah, let's rectify what people have been asking me. So why it's so important for energy work to cross over with the client that I'm actually working with right now used to go see a psychiatrist. Okay. And I think that that is an absolutely incredible thing to work with both. She has now stopped with her psychiatrist because she felt like she wanted more energy-based work done with her. She felt like she was stuck. She felt like she had blocks. She felt like she was clogged up. Her brain has been fuzzy. And I'm going to be very honest. She was told that her psychiatrist thinks she has ADHD. And there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not against the diagnosis, but I do think that some people are diagnosed with ADHD and they actually just have a few energetic blocks that need to be blocked. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I used to be similar until I started focusing on meditating and I started shifting my energy with my mentor. And then I started to feel more settled within myself. And the reason why I think this is because a lot of women don't know who they are. And it really stems from when they were in their childhood and their parents relied on them far too much, that they were the strong person, that they would look after the family. They come to you for knowledge. They come for you for everything. And sometimes it feels like it's a bit too much and you're constantly on edge. You're constantly on jumping. So you keep yourself really busy and you want to distract yourself constantly. And it's become such a bad habit that you constantly do that. So I personally believe that some people might have ADHD, but I think there's a lot of kids, especially boys, that get diagnosed with ADHD. And there is a book where it talks about how boys' testosterone hits higher from like 3 months, 12 months, 15 months, 3 years old, 6 years old, something like that. And it keeps going through their whole life. So of course, if you think about your husband and his testosterone, if you have a husband or if you know any males in your life, you think about their testosterone, they have to burn. They need to burn. The more masculine your partner is, the more they need to burn their testosterone. My husband needs to burn a lot of testosterone. He has a lot of testosterone that's like pent up. So for him, me and him have spoken about it, and I said to him, what if they, when you were in high school or primary school, did you like being in class? And he said, no, I had far too much energy. I couldn't even concentrate and it felt like it was just going to explode. So imagine that, and then kids being diagnosed with ADHD and people believing in the system so much to the point where they can't fault the system. And I'm not having a go at anybody that runs with the system because I also still go to the doctor, still do things if I need to. It's very rare that I personally do, but with my daughter, she's my first and main priority. If I feel that she needs a hospital, a doctor, I will make sure that she gets that. And I think that that is really important. So like I said, I'm not against those things, but I'm just saying this is for you to expand and think about. Do you rely on the doctors so much to the point where their word is above all else? And we are kind of born to do that. So it's about rewiring ourselves to be able to go in your body and go, do I feel right now that this is a problem for me? Can I find a solution on my own. No, I can't. And I'm talking like a real solution. I'm talking like kinesiology. I'm talking like any sort of energy work that can help shift what's going on, breath work, Reiki, those types of things. If it's something that is based off anxiety, depression, postpartum depression, there's those types of things. I've seen people, and I've also myself have been in a deep, dark depression, and I've seen what happens when you work on your energy and you shift it, and you have that support network from your mentor and you can shift it. I'm saying, do we need to go down the route of medication straight away? Can we try and find something that can help us expand ourselves without feeling like we have to be on medication for everything? Because it's becoming quite common. And I think I saw something the other day by a doctor who in America decided to quit in her 5th year. So she was nearly finished. Her parents congratulated her because she said that I was just basically told to get paid to do what they say and not what I thought was right. And she started to question herself, and she was doing a talk show, and she said, I think it was 80% of children in America are medicated. And the whole point in them medicating children is because the next generation won't be able to stand up to the people in power. That's the whole point, right? Because our generation's getting older. Our parents' generation is getting older. I'm in my 30s, so just if you don't know me that well. So, your generation, your parents' generation is getting older. So these people are trying to medicate children to kind of numb them down a little bit. There's other ways to work through your body. There's somatic healing, there's vocal healing, and you'll be like, oh, vocal healing's bullshit. I actually do my light language, and I've had women have purges for like 2 or 3 days after, because their energy in their body have needed an energetic purge for them to feel like they can get rid of whatever has been stuck to them, whether it's energy wise, whether it's old patterns, whether it's old DNA. That is the most powerful, potent thing that I've ever had in this lifetime. And I can tell you now, it is so incredible. And by the way, I think that the medical system has a place and has a beautiful, beautiful space in this world. But I just think we're trying to find the balance in both. I think it's really important to have a balance with both. I'm just going to have a little bit of a drink of my coffee. So I feel like it's really important for you to feel, I hope that wasn't like a big gulp, because I know what it's like when somebody gulps their coffee or they're eating food or something next to you and you're just like, for fuck's sake, all I can hear is you chewing or whatever. So I apologize. But like I said, today is a coffee day for moi and I need to have a little bit of a hit. I think on the podcast before I've said I haven't been having coffee, but recently I've gone back to having a very, very small one in the morning. It's mainly because I've got so much work to do and looking after Oakley at the same time. I feel like I've got fuck all energy by like night time. So I just need to have a little bit of a pick-me-up. And also I thought with my period, just for anyone that's followed my health journey, I have been taking magnesium, like really good magnesium stuff for the last 4 or 5 months, and it has changed my body and changed. I apologize if you heard that noise in the background. My husband's building a shed out the back. So my health journey, magnesium has basically changed helped me with my hormones over my period. I don't get headaches anymore. I've upped my water as well. And I thought it was the coffee. The coffee doesn't sit overly well in my stomach. I normally have matcha, but I ran out of matcha. That's why I've gone back to coffee. So I'm going to order some more, like a big batch. If anyone that listens has a great recommendation of matcha, please send it through, because I actually love it. And I actually loved it for a substitute for coffee in the morning. It was really amazing. You still get a little bit of a hit. I've kind of gone off cacao. I've had that for a while. I love it. I think it's beautiful and I think it's sacred, but I think we're overly using it. So I just personally felt like I wanted to step back and figure out why I'm using things. It's the same thing when I cook with like animals and meat and those types of things. I kind of take a moment to thank the animal. Obviously, being Italian, my ancestors used to use the whole animal, and my parents, my dad's family and my mum's family both used to I have some really ancient recipes, and it's very beautiful and sacred, I feel, in a physical form to be able to represent your family's DNA and to be able to cook and those types of things. For me, I love cooking and it means a lot to me. It's my love language in a way as well. So that's just, something that I will just pop in there and drop in there as well is if you feel like that you have a culture behind you, and just because you were born in Australia doesn't mean you can't connect back to that culture. Your physical self was born for that way for a reason. There's an experience to be had, some good, some not so good. The Italians can be very over the top, very in your face, very needy, very controlling, very like to make decisions for you. So that's the minus side. The plus side is they love you no matter what. You have a beautiful family that forgives, that loves, probably sometimes a little bit too much. So yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 with that one. So onwards and upwards. If you've been here for a while, you know that I like to kind of go around in a bit of a loop and a bit of a story with things. So yeah, I basically feel that everything has a place and a space, going back to what I was saying. And I had someone who asked me why their clients keep asking them if they should do Reiki while they're seeing a psychologist. And she basically said to me, I can't say yes to that because they're not signed off in a university or they don't have a doctorate. And I kind of just said to her, she never answered me back, and I just said to her, I just want you to know that I have quite a few clients that work with myself and a psychologist and a psychiatrist. I actually suggest it if you have trauma-based things that you feel like you've never verbalized before and you want to talk through. They can be very powerful tools and people to work with while you're working through yourself. Otherwise, myself and my journey personally, I never went to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and I've obviously had trauma, and I work through it all based on energy. I've worked through it with energy, just energy with my mentor. And the whole purpose in it is you don't go back into the energy of the past of it, but you deal with the energy that's come up for it to be healed right now. And I've done that several times with certain things that have come up in my life. And one was a sexual assault. I've talked about that before. So, I think it's really important for you to pick and choose what works for you. And also, there is a lot of people out there. She was right. There is a lot of people out there that can claim to be a healer. So it's really important that you ask where their credentials are from. I've studied under the Japanese lineage, and Jason McGrath is a very, very highly recommended meditation teacher and healer. If you look him up on Insight Timer, I actually had no idea who Jason was. My brother and my sister-in-law are very good friends with Jodie, his wife, and I was going to Adelaide quite a bit, and then I basically linked up with Jason to get my Reiki 1 and 2 while I was over there, and then I sat on that for about 3 years, and then I got my master's, and that was a lot of growth for me. There was a lot that I had to work through, and now I'm actually really good friends with Jason. We chat very regularly. Before I became and got my master's, we're quite good friends, and he's doing some incredible things. There's also, I want to tell you a story about Christina. She is probably one of the most humble people that I've ever met, who is from Honolulu in Hawaii. I'm sorry, Christina, if you're listening and I got that wrong. I love you. She was in the Reiki Masters, and Christina is a nurse, a Reiki nurse. In COVID, she started healing people. They started a business where they would help people in COVID because they couldn't see anybody, but they were at the hospital all the time. She would start to train people in Reiki 1 and 2 to be able to give Reiki to clients in the hospital. So much so that now there is a study done on them. There's been a study done on it. And also the doctors move aside for the healers. And this is absolutely incredible because back in the day, this is what used to happen. You wouldn't go to a doctor. You would go to a healer. The healer would look after you. The healer would have lots of fingers in lots of areas. And when I mean that, they would have, say, kinesiology behind them. They would have, this is just very physical ways for me to explain it. They would have herbs behind them. The herbs, I would like to go down that route myself. I'm thinking later on and doing a bit of studying in more Ayurvedic kind of studies to add to what I'm doing. But the herbs would be a massive part. And that's basically like going to a doctor. And the thing was back then, this is not like, please don't take this as like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Because I'm not saying that. I'm saying back then they just worked off, this will heal you. And they had such belief in plants and their healings that if someone passed away, it was their time. It was their time to move on because they'd done everything in their power to be able to do that. Even in the Amazon jungle right now, and you've got the Aboriginal cultures in Australia, you've got the Native Americans, you've got any sort of native culture around the world. They're still doing it this way. And yes, we need to evolve, but there is a big lesson in this to really learn that we should be learning of these native cultures. Learning so deeply off them, and anything. I would love to just suck up in every culture what they could tell me. Japan, everywhere, China. My brother used to work with the native culture in China, and they were absolutely incredible, but they were kind of forced to live up north in China and no one really knows about it. Going back to Christina, she is an absolute beautiful human. And she's a Reiki nurse, and I'm hoping to get over there and be with her in a retreat that they're going to be doing and teaching. And I'm fingers crossed that I can get over there and help her in some way or another at some point. I would love to volunteer my time and go over there. And also I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, but she is such a beautiful human, and I would love to get over there and get back to seeing what she really does and how she really impacts people day to day. I still can't believe that doctors leave the room while she gives Reiki to clients to help them heal along with the physical medicine. And this is what we should be doing, but we're not focusing on that enough. And the study has only just started to happen. So I'm hoping eventually she comes to Australia, and I would love to get her to come over and do a massive talk at some point. I actually might even get her to come on the podcast. I know that I've said I'll get a few people on the podcast, but I've actually been a little bit picky about who I want to come on now, because I feel like I've shifted my perception on where I'm wanting to go with the podcast. And I would really love certain people who are very in-depth and open to come on here, and they also have access to Reiki energy and they use energy and why it's so important. I might even get my mentor Jason to come on here as well. So yeah, just give me a little bit and I will make sure that I get the right people on here, which is really important to me and for my viewers that listen to everything that I have to talk about. So I'm going to come to a close in a moment, but before I go and before I finish, I just really would like you to think about energy and think about how, if you're wanting to know more about energy, I always suggest, if you're a factual scientific person, Dr. Joe Dispenza is an absolutely incredible human, and he has so many books, so many meditations. He talks about when you change your energy, you change your life. And it's something, when I found him, I was like, that is the person that I would love to be myself. I would love for me to be seen as someone similar to him and respected in the field of energy. It's something that I feel really passionate about. It's not a mess around to me. I feel so passionate about energy. I feel so passionate about helping people learn how to use their energy that I get all like teary about it because it's just really important to me. So he's a great person. And then there is another person, Gabby Bernstein, is more on the spiritual side of things. She used to be a drug addict when she was younger. Her story is pretty incredible. Her story is pretty incredible. And then there is another person, Gabby Bernstein, is more on the spiritual side of things. She used to be a drug addict when she was younger. Her story is pretty incredible. Her story is pretty incredible. And then there is another person, Gabby Bernstein, is more on the spiritual side of things. She used to be a drug addict when she was younger. I really, really like what she talks about, and she builds a business off manifesting and working with energy. She's really incredible. And then there was somebody else that that I really admire and love that works with energy, but you kind of wouldn't know it. Someone that, if you do follow me regularly, you would know. One of my close friends, Tracy Spencer, works with a lot of energetics in her business behind closed scenes, if you can't tell. Another person is... who else was it? Jason, I would probably recommend going to his stuff. He has a very grounded approach if you're wanting to understand what I'm saying more. If you don't feel like you're getting enough from me, he is also someone that I feel like is a very solid, grounded person. And him and I have really good grounded conversations and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. But have a little think about where you're at in your life, and if you're wanting to add energy into your life, if you're wanting to learn about energy, learn about your own energy, then send me a message on Instagram. I think I've told you guys my handle before, but I will repeat it for you guys as well. It is _ Danielle Baker _ and there's loads of information there. Like I said, I'm going to be in Perth I have nighttime appointments only, maybe a few during the day, but mainly nighttime appointments, from the 24th to the 30th. So if you would like to see me as a one-on-one client, please let me know. If you're wanting to join the group, please let me know as well. So have a wonderful week, guys, and I'll talk to you next week.